Hiya guys, how you doing? Back here for another fight card prediction. We're going to break down UFC 173 from Las Vegas. It's the headlining act of the card. Renan Barao defends his UFC bantamweight championship against Team Alpha Male's TJ Dillashaw. If you think Renan Barao will win this fight, give him a thumbs up. And if you think TJ Dillashaw is going to win the fight, give him a thumbs down. I've seen nobody pick TJ Dillashaw yet. It'd be interesting to see if anybody actually does. Coming off a great card from Cincinnati with a lot of finishes, a lot of great knockouts as well, which kind of accumulated in the main event between Matt Brown and Eric Silva, which was a great fight. And he's probably moved himself into maybe a title fight in the near future. I don't think so. I think he still needs that one tough guy from the top 10 to fight. But he's looking great at the minute and he's unstoppable, let's be honest. So we're going to move on to this card. Starting in the welterweight division, two fighters I've never seen before. David Michaud against Li Jingliang. Jingliang is 8-2, most of his wins by submission. David Michaud is 7-0. I haven't seen any footage of these guys whatsoever. I tossed a coin. It came up Jingliang. I'm going to pick him by decision, but I've seen nothing of these two guys, so really shouldn't make a pick, to be honest with you. Next up, we've got Sam Sicily against Aaron Phillips. Sam Sicilia is probably fighting for his job here. We know how he fights. Sam Sicilia comes forward. He's very aggressive. He throws a lot of strikes. He tries to knock you out. Doesn't really take you down too often, but he may implement that in this fight, as I think he is fighting for his job here. So he'll maybe just go for a lame prey victory. I hope he doesn't, because I like watching him, because he either comes out, he gets finished himself, or he finishes his opponent, so he's usually exciting to see. He lost last time out against Cole Miller. Before that, he knocked out Goro Castro Pepe. But he's against Aaron Phillips here, who fights out Louisiana. He trains a little bit with Dustin Poirier, so I knew a little bit beforehand, because I'm a big Poirier fan. I always check out what's going on. A very, very good kickboxer, but he's got very bad takedown defense, as he likes to stay in the feet a lot more. I shouldn't say bad, it's just not great yet. I think he's got a lot to work on. Hopefully this will be an exciting fight where they both stand up. If that's the case, I'm probably just edging towards Sam Sicilia here. So I'm going to pick Sam Sicilia by... I'm going to go TKO in the second. Next up, we've got Anthony Njokuani against Vince from Hell Pichel. Vince Pichel won his last fight against Garrett Whiteley. Very, very good opponent for him. He threw him about, dominated him. Easiest unanimous decision victory for him. Anthony Njokuani, a very exciting fighter. He's always been in very exciting fights. He knocked out Roger Bolin, and it was a great fight. He uses his reach very well. He uses his leg kicks very well. He's a very good kickboxer, Muay Thai striker. He's got good distance and he kind of keeps away, and he's got pretty decent takedown defense as well. I like Njokuani in this fight. I think it'll be a tough brawl. I think he can finish Pichel more than Pichel can finish Njokuani, but I think Anthony Njokuani is going to take it by unanimous decision victory. Next up, we're in the lightweight division with a fighter I'm quite a big fan of, Al Iaquinta against Mitch Clark. We'll talk about Mitch Clark first. He's probably another one here who's fighting for his job. This is his fourth fight in UFC. He's lost two beforehand. His only victory is against John Maguire, and to be honest, since John Maguire since then he's been going downhill ever since he left the UFC. Even in the UFC, he's been going downhill. He fights out of Canada. He trains out at the lab in Arizona, where he trains with Benson Henderson and John Crouch. He looks for submissions quite a bit. Striking's not great. I think it's a tough fight for him here against Al Iaquinta. Iaquinta likes to throw hard shots. Very good wrestler. And just the nicest guy ever. I met him, I met his training partners, I met his family, I met his two coaches, Matt Serra and Ray Longo, in Manchester. Spent about 3 hours round about that camp. And then after the fight, him and Matt Serra actually noticed me. They were coming out of a pizza place where they were stuffing their fat faces. And they were just so nice in taking pictures, and they spent about 20 minutes with us outside, about 1 in the morning. It was just a really nice couple of guys to be around about. He's coming off 3 fights with his wins over Kevin Lee, Peter Hallman and Ryan Couture. So he's looking for a 4th win here. He's going to move up to the next bracket, a better fighter. So if he beats Mitch Clark here, I think he will beat Mitch Clark here. I think he will easily ride out a unanimous decision victory. Maybe a finish late in the 3rd via ground and pound. Next up, a fight I'm really looking forward to. It's a good fight. Chris Holdsworth against Chico Camus. We all know Chris Holdsworth. He won the last season of The Ultimate Fighter. He all of his wins, professional wins, have came by submission. People are saying he's not great on his feet. I think he's a lot better than people give him credit for. He's just a beast when it goes to the ground. And he's got himself a very tough fight here against Chico Camus. Chico Camus is very, very scrappy, very gritty. Coming off a couple of wins himself. I know Kyung Ho Kang was one of them. His last victory was, let me see, I don't remember off the top of my head, Yatsen Meza, where he did look very, very good in that fight. He never trained at Rufus Sport last time out as well. There was a little bit going on between Duke Rufus and Chico Camus. I really look forward to this fight. I think it could be a very tough fight. I think it's going to stay in the feet for a little bit, and then Chris Holdsworth's going to take this guy to the ground, and I think he can submit Chico Camus, and I think he will submit Chico Camus. He's been submitted in the past in the UFC by Dustin Kimura. I think he will take him in the 2nd round. I think he'll get it via a rear naked choke, so I'm going to go 2nd round submission by Chris Holdsworth for the victory. Next up, we've got Tony Ferguson against Katsunori Kakono. I think it's another gimme fight for Tony Ferguson. He was given one against Mike Rio at UFC 166. This is another one. I know Kakono he's fought Eddie Alvarez and that in the past. He's fought some decent fighters, but he shouldn't be in the UFC in my opinion. I like Tony Ferguson here. I think he can win any way he likes. I reckon he may look for a submission again. So I'm going to go Tony Ferguson by submission at some point. Next up's another fight I'm looking forward to, even though I think it's a pretty easy fight for who I think will win. Michael Chiesa against Francisco Trinaldo Masanduba. I like the fight a lot. Michael Chiesa's coming off a win over Colton Smith by submission. Before that, he got submitted by Jorge Masvidal. We all know what Michael Chiesa wants to do. He wants to kind of strike, get you with a jab, and then try and initiate a takedown. Francisco Trinaldo, he's just a kind of berserker. He goes in, he throws stuff. You go to the ground with this guy, he's very tough. But he has been submitted in the past. Peter Hallman did it in Brazil. I think Michael Chiesa will do the exact same here. So I'm going to go Michael Chiesa by submission in the 2nd round. Moving on to the main card, we've got a lightweight bout to start off the main card. And a very good fight I'm looking forward to as well. Jamie Varner against James Krause. This is Jamie Varner's 2nd outing of the year. He's coming off that knockout loss to Abel Trujillo, where he was maybe not dominating, he was having the advantage of that fight, and then he got clipped with an absolute huge right hook, and he was fucking out. And it's my favourite moment of the 2014 UFC calendar by far. I was screaming at the TV about 4 o'clock in the morning, waking my neighbours up. James Krause, this is his first time fighting since November. He lost a kind of controversial fight against Bobby Green where he got kicked in the nuts a couple of times. This is a tough fight. I think it's going to be very close. I think it's going to go to decision. I'm going to go with underdog here. I'm going to go with James Krause via decision. It just depends what Jamie Varner shows up. Sometimes we see a great Jamie Varner like he did against Edson Barboza. I thought he could have looked a little bit better against Abel Trujillo. I know he was coming in short notice as well. But I'm just going to go with underdog here. I'm going to go with James Krause via unanimous decision. Next up, another great fight. Takeya Misagaki against Francisco Rivera. Misagaki, I think I pick against this guy every time and he always ends up winning. He's coming off, let me see, how many wins has he got? 4 in a row. Jeff Holland, Brian Caraway, Eric Perez and Nam Phan. Fights he should maybe win, maybe the Perez one I think I picked against him. He's a very good striker, very, very good technical striker. He keeps you at distance. Francisco Rivera is a guy that likes to stand on his feet as well, and he likes to throw bombs. Rivera's coming off a couple of wins in a row. I think he knocked out George Roop was one of them maybe, and let me see, George Roop and Edmund Figueroa, both finishes. I think he maybe, did he beat Roland Delorme? He might have done, but something might have happened. He might have tested positive or something. Tough fight. I'm going to go Francisco Rivera. I think Takema Sagaku has won his last few fights via splits. I think Rivera's just got enough fear to maybe get a split himself. So I'm going to go Francisco Rivera via decision. Next up, another great fight. We have Robbie Lawler against Jake Ellenberger. For me, I can't believe Jake Ellenberger. I know Robbie Lawler, since he's come back to the UFC, has looked fantastic. He was probably one round away from winning the UFC welterweight championship at UFC 171 against Johnny Hendricks. Some people gave him that fight. The 5th round decided that fight, and Johnny Hendricks got the decision he deserved. Jake Ellenberger, he lost last time out to Rory McDonald. He's been away for a bit. Was supposed to face Safadine a few times. And I'm loving the fact he's underdog here, because I'm going to throw quite a bit of money on Jake Ellenberger in this fight. I think he can win this fight anywhere. I think he can knock Lawler out. Lawler can knock him out, obviously. I think he's got the better wrestling game, even though Robbie Lawler has a very good takedown defense. I think this is a little bit too soon to be coming back after that title fight, so I'm going to go Jake Ellenberger, maybe a late finish in the 3rd. If not, I think he will get a decision fairly easily, and I'll be throwing quite a bit of money on Jake Ellenberger for that fight. Co-main event, Dan Henderson against Daniel Cormier. Dan Henderson, great fighter, been one of the best for a long time. Had a phenomenal performance against Shogun Rua last time out. I shouldn't really say good performance. He was getting dominated pretty good by Shogun, and then he hit him with that big hook uppercut to the nose, and it was a thunderous shot. You could see when it happened, it was a big shot. But I think he is past his best, and he's lost to the best guys. And Daniel Cormier, without a doubt, dropping down from the heavyweight division, is one of the best guys in MMA at the minute. He took apart Patrick Cummins like everybody thought he would inside a couple of minutes. UFC 170. Another quick turnaround for him here. I just think he's better everywhere than Dan Henderson. He's got power. I think he's better striking maybe than Henderson. Henderson just kind of seems to go for the one shot all the time. Wrestling, I think he's a better wrestler than Dan Henderson, even though Henderson's one of the best wrestlers there has been in the UFC for many a year. I just think Daniel Cormier is better everywhere. I think he can stop Dan Henderson. I think he will stop Dan Henderson in the 2nd tier. If not, he's going to ride out a unanimous decision all night long. So I'm going to go Daniel Cormier, TKO 3rd. If not, very big decision. And the main event of the night is Renan Barao against TJ Dillashaw. I'm a fan of Dillashaw, but I'm also a very big fan of Renan Barao. You watch this guy live, and he's just a great fighter to watch. He's just a brute everywhere. On the feet, he can knock you out. When it goes to ground, he just leaps on things and he can submit you. I was there in Birmingham, UFC 138, when he caught Brad Pickett, and it was over like that. It was so quick, it was over. And ever since then, he's just went on leaps and bounds, taking out Uriah Faber, and he's taken out Michael McDonald in a great fight. TJ Dillashaw, he's been knocked out. I'm a fan of TJ Dillashaw. I think he's a great fighter. He's very, very quick. I think he's got the faster hand speed than Renan Barao here. He's got good striking. I think Barao just edges everywhere, maybe except for the wrestling game, but then it brings in his jiu-jitsu as well. TJ Dillashaw has been on a run. He lost to Rafael Assunção, which I don't think he lost in Brazil. He beat Mike Easton. He looked great there. But the fight with John Dodson always sticks in my head, where he can be hit by very, very fast strikers. And he was a flyweight, and he got knocked out by a natural flyweight. So I'm just leaning towards Renan Barao here. I think he can finish TJ Dillashaw very, very early on. I think he will catch him with something like he did with Eddie Wineland, like a spinning back kick. And if he goes to the ground, his ground and pound's horrible, like we've seen against Uriah Faber at UFC 169. So would like to see TJ Dillashaw win. Don't think it's going to happen, unfortunately. So I'm going to go Renan Barao via knockout in the 2nd round. So that's my picks for UFC 173 remember, guys, give if you think Renan Barao is going to win, give it a thumbs up. If you think TJ Dillashaw is going to win, give it a thumbs down. Come follow me on Twitter, BigBubble7MMA. Always like to chat to guys on there. Come and follow me, and I'll let you know when these videos are out if you're interested in watching more of them. I will be back. Let's see what the next card is. I think there's a few. There's one in Berlin, which I don't know whether I'll be doing anything for. In fact, we've got 2 cards on that day. We've got Munoz against Musasi, and we've got Maldonado against Miocic. I will probably not do anything for those cards. I may be back. Let's see when I'll be back. I will be back. I'll be back sometime then. I think I'll be for UFC 174, or maybe the card from Albuquerque, New Mexico. So I think I'll be back for that, where Benson Henderson faces Rustam Khabilov and Diego Sanchez against Ross Pearson. So I'll probably be back for them ones. So come follow me on Twitter, like, dislike, share. All the best, and I will see you soon.